I only wanted warmth, a drink, and maybe a job in a town I couldn't even name. Then the bar went quiet. Sam almost called the newcomer Alpha, and my body reacted before I understood why. Who was Aidan, and why was he staring at me like nothing else existed? Soon I was walking down a street lined with clothing stores, shoe shops, and exactly what I was looking for. A bar. From the looks of it, it was the only one around. It had a big red neon sign out front that said, Sam's Bar, and I heard music spilling from the open front door. I sighed, relieved to find some warmth in the cold, and headed inside. As I pushed open the door, I couldn't help but notice what looked like long gouges in the wood near the handle. They looked like claw marks. I guess sometimes wild animals need a drink, too. The moment the door closed behind me, I was immediately hit with the sense of beer and cigarette smoke. Inside, it looked pretty much like every other bar. The interior was dimly lit. Tables were scattered all over, with small candles placed in the center of each of them. The place was full of life, and the atmosphere was buzzing. Guys and girls were having fun, drinking, laughing, and singing along to Life is a Highway. I smiled a little. The place had a good feel. Behind me, a gust of wind blasted through the door, shoving me stumbling into the room. I shook my head, laughing to myself as I imagined how ridiculous I'd looked, tripped by thin air. As I recovered, the room fell suddenly silent, and I found every single eye in the bar focused on me. I gave everyone my best death glare, but they kept staring until I stomped over to the bar and sat down, far from anybody else. I smiled at the bartender and said, "Give me a beer, please." The bartender smiled back, kindly, and handed me a bottle of beer. "Sorry about the stares, miss. We aren't used to seeing new people in town. Everyone knows everyone, so the youngsters here haven't learned their manners yet." "No problem. I kind of just stumbled into town and figured it seemed nice enough. Though you do lack signs and motels." "Yes, we'll have to look into that for the next visitor coming along. Name's Sam and this is my place." "Nice to meet you, Sam." Kiarra Bell. "Say, Sam, you don't happen to be a bartender short?" It took 4 more beers before I finally convinced Sam that I was serious about the bartender job. He gave me a look that clearly said he didn't believe a girl could handle being behind the bar at his place. I talked him into letting me demonstrate my skills. I stood behind the bar, ready to show him how to throw around a bottle or two. I'd taken off my jacket earlier. Luckily, I was wearing my standard black jeans and a black off-the-shoulder crop top, so I pretty much looked like I belonged there. "All right, Belle, show me what you've got." Sam leaned against the wall with his arms crossed. I flashed him a dazzling grin and turned around to the computer screen hanging on the wall, picking my music. When Pour Some Sugar on Me started blasting, I started swaying my hips, chuckling to myself. If this song didn't get you into a party mood, we couldn't be friends. First thing I did was grab one of the square napkins with Sam's Bar stamped on it. I placed it on the top of my other hand, flipped the hand and placed down the napkin on the bar. I picked up a glass, threw it in the air, caught it, and set it down in the center of the napkin. I continued on my little journey, and went to grab the bottom shaker, flipping it in the air, grabbing it with the other hand, and going for the ice cubes. At this point, I was very aware of all the stares. No one was hiding their amusement or curiosity anymore, and I didn't care. I loved performing, and that's what this was, a performance. Every twirl, every movement was a well-rehearsed dance, and this was opening night. I glanced at Sam as I picked up the top shaker, and I couldn't help the small laugh escaping me. Sam looked a bit surprised but not fully awed yet. I threw the bottle into the air, catching it on the back of my hand, balancing it there for a moment before throwing it upward again, catching it in my hand this time. Now I heard a few cheers, and I couldn't help but laugh, and sway my body to the music. I stretched out my arm, letting the shaker drop, and caught it with my other hand, before snagging the bottom part of the shaker with the ice and clapping the halves together, shaking the contents for a few seconds, before finally pouring the liquid through the small opening, so no ice followed it into the waiting glass. I turned to Sam with a smile, and slid the cocktail toward him. "1 vodka martini, shaken, not stirred, sir." I gave him a playful wink, and just couldn't help the laugh that followed as I saw the sight in front of me. It took Sam a few moments to gather himself, but when he did, he shook his head and started laughing like a wild man. The whole bar joined in, and the room filled with laughter. Everyone had enjoyed the show. After calming down, Sam walked up and grabbed the drink, took a big gulp of it, and turned to me. Okay, 007. When can you start? I smirked triumphantly as I heard the bar's door open again behind me. I'm not really that picky about my work schedule, I said. I like to work, and the last bar I worked at was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So how about I come in tomorrow night? Sam gave me a distracted grin, and turned his attention to someone behind me. Alf. I mean Aidan, how are you? Sam asked the newcomer, his expression suddenly apprehensive. What the fuck was my body doing? It seemed to be freaking the fuck out at this Aidan person's presence. I turned around to see what the hell was happening and felt my breath catch in my throat. Standing behind me was the most beautiful man I'd ever seen, and he was staring at me like I was the only person in the entire world.